Record. All right. I believe we've gotten into this now. So it's time to rank every weapon that Jason uses from films 2 to 10 of the Friday the 13th series, excluding one, obviously, as Jason doesn't kill anybody in that one. It only makes a small appearance at the very end. We're skipping 5 because that isn't Jason. That's another guy, Roy, and we hate him. And 9. We're skipping 9 because 9 is the worst movie I've ever seen, and it doesn't deserve to be included. So here we go. As you can see, the images have kind of been cut off in a few places because of how they're cropped for the website, and that's a little bit annoying. But we're gonna make do. We're gonna do our best with what we've got. So, first up, we're gonna go with the hands. Now, the reason we're gonna start with the hands is because Jason kills the most people in the series with his hands, and I have the number. I calculated exactly how many I found throughout the movies, excluding 1, 5, and 9, and from my count, I got that Jason killed 27 people on screen with his hands. Now, I included if he were to like drown someone, I didn't make a water, I just included that with his hands. Or if he were to throw someone against a wall or something, that is also a hand kill. So 27 is how many I got. And you know what? 27 kills with the hands, they're B tier. You know, not very creative, but very effective. He's a strong man in the films, and he uses his hands quite effectively. He's very versatile, so even when there's no weapon around, he's got his hands. So they're going to go in the B tier. They're pretty good, but they're not the best. So next up, we're going to go with the axe. I believe this is the axe. It's hard to tell because of how it was cropped in the website here, but I believe that is the axe. And the axe, he has killed 4 people total with the axe, 3 of which he killed as you would expect with the bladed part of the axe. However, one of these people he killed with the backside of the axe. He smacked him with the backside of the axe. And you know what? That's pretty cool. So axe, and axe is one of his kind of more, the more known weapons for Jason. So he's going to get an A for the axe. Now, it does just look like a stick here, but I'm pretty sure that's the axe. So we're going to put it in A tier. A little bit better than hands. It's a little bit more iconic. You don't really, when you think Jason, you don't go, oh, he kills people with his hands, So an axe, it's one of the higher ones up there. It's going to be A tier. Next up, what I think we're going to do is we're going to continue with the classics. And for that, we need the machete. Once again, wonderfully cropped image. It's the machete. Now, a machete, it's Jason's weapon. When most people think Jason, they think, oh, the bloody machete. When I looked up machete, it came up bloody Jason machete. So it's a very iconic weapon for Jason to use. He killed, let me get the exact number here. He killed, oh goodness, I did it in ticks for the machete. He killed 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 people with a normal machete. 14. I believe that is the second highest amount in the films, just after hands. And it's his very iconic weapon. He uses it well. Also going to be an A. These are both axe and machete. Classic weapons for Jason. They're both getting A tier. Hands, pretty cool. Not on the same level. Just not up there. Next up, you know what? I think the cleaver is calling my name right now. So Jason, with the cleaver, killed 2.5 people. Now I say 2.5 because he used it in conjunction with another weapon on this list, which is only awarded a half kill because it is used in conjunction with the cleaver. So it's got the rare 2.5 kills. Pretty cool. Cleaver, though, it doesn't really fit Jason. He's not a butcher. He's just a kid and it's not a naturally scary weapon as much as a machete or an axe is. It's not as big. You gotta get a little bit closer. There's no stabbing possible like there is with the machete. So the cleaver, it's going in C. You know, well cropped image on the website, but just not up to par with the other ones that we've seen so far. Then, you know what, because we've done the half, the other half is the corkscrew. So I believe this is in the 7th movie. I believe the one with the girl with the powers. You know, she's got the telekinetic powers that she uses to defeat Jason. Very odd thing to just add to the series. I believe it's, is it New Blood? New Blood? Part 7, New Blood? Yes, it is. Okay, the mind still got it. So yes, it's in the 7th movie. You know, Corkscrew, pretty creative. It does only get half a kill, so it's going to be in the B. You know, not as iconic. It's creative and cool, but it doesn't get a full kill. It's going to sit in the B tier. Then we move on. Let's go for the electric guitar. Electric guitar only gets 1 kill in the films, and it's in the 8th movie, Jason Takes Manhattan, which I think is an underrated Jason film. You know, it sticks to its guns. Jason is pretty average in the way that he works his powers. They work as they should, and that's something that I think is very important for a good Jason film. They don't give him all new powers like the worst movie 9, where he's suddenly this horribly magic demonic being. Hate it so much. He's just, you know, he's just an aquatic zombie dude, and he kills with what he's got. And you know what? At the time, takes a girl's electric guitar, totally crushes her with it. It's a cool moment. I think it's really, for that film, it's the most iconic kill, and so it's gonna be given a B. You know, it's once again creative. Only 1 kill. He could have used it a little bit more, and he just kind of smacks her with it. It's not really a creative use of the weapon. While it is a creative weapon to use, not a creative use of that weapon. So it's going to be sitting in the B. Let's go for this one then. These are the poles of a fence. Fence poles. They are used twice, kill 2 people in quick succession. And you know what? For the movie that they show up in, which I believe is the 6th one, the one where he comes back to life, it's a great return to form for the series after the garbage that is the 5th movie. So I think it deserves an A. There's a scene that I think many people who know Jason will know, where he's standing in the rain, it's thundering, and he's holding that pole from the fence. It's a good shot. It's a good scene, and I think it deserves the A slot. All right, next up, let's just go for the spear. Now, the spear is specifically like a costume spear. You know, it's like it's a spear. When you think of spear, that's what he used. A very basic form of spear, and he uses this to skewer 2 people who I believe have either just finished or are currently making love. Now that's a very odd time to kill people, but it's also kind of metal, you know? He's a killing machine, and he sees 2 people in a vulnerable spot, skewers them, both of them right through each other. It's great. I think it's a very good use of the spear, and because of that, also gonna go in A. You know, spear, pretty good use. Although it's not the most creative weapon, the use of that weapon, very creative. It's going in A. We'll go for the hypodermic needle. Once again, not cropped very well, so it's kind of hard to see, but it's a hypodermic needle. And oh, actually, it's a syringe. Yes, okay. So I use the term syringe in my list here. He gets 1 kill with it. So obviously, it's not going to be S. It's not the best, but it's pretty cool. You know, it's a syringe, so a small weapon he's still able to use effectively. And so I think it's going to be placed in B. You know, we have a very top-heavy list this time. That's because I think a lot of the weapons used pretty well. The cleaver so far is the worst one. However, it will definitely not be the worst one of all of them. It's the hypodermic or the syringe though. It's going to be. It's pretty decent. It's pretty decent, all right, but it's not too much. You know, it's not going to be something you're like, wow. You know, he used a syringe. That's so cool. No, it's something that you're going to see happen. Probably you're expecting it to happen at some point. You know, it's a scary thing. Everybody's afraid of needles at some point in their life. So when he uses it, you know, it's like, it's freaky, but it's not too much. So we're gonna go to our first, and I'll spoil it right now. It's the first S tier weapon. It is the hydraulic circular saw. I don't know what to say. C and Jason were in this hydraulic circular saw, just standing there in the darkness. It's horrifying. It's one of the only electric weapons that he uses. I think it might be the only mechanized weapon that he uses. You know, it's got inner mechanics, and most of the weapons, as you'll see here, you know, we've got a lot of very basic weapons. You know, you stab, you slash. The hydraulic circular saw, though, that's a cutting machine. You know, that's something that can do some real damage on its own, and it's very nice to see him use it. The shot, the low angle shot pointed up at him, it's beautiful. Hydraulic circular saw, definitely an S tier for me. Let's go to the wrench. He does. By the way, only gets one kill with the hydraulic circular saw. You know what? So it's like sad, but you know you can't overuse the best ones. They got to be saved for good moments. Now we'll move on to the wrench. So the wrench, he gets one kill, which is kind of surprising to me. He's a wrench. It's you know, it's something that you'd assume is going to be around a lot. It's very easy to quickly pick up and smack someone with it. However, it only gets one kill. Because of that, wrench is going to go in D. You know, it's not really intended on being a weapon, and at the same time, it's not very creative to use as a weapon. Say like the pole of a fence. You know, not intended as a weapon, very effective as a weapon. Much like a spear, just it's used the same way. Syringe, you know, it's not really a weapon, but it's got some fear in it. Electric guitar, not a weapon, but he uses it in an interesting way. You know, it's something that the girl loves, and then he just takes it from her and he crushes her. You know, all of these, they've got some shock value, got some interesting things about it. A wrench? Ugh. What's interesting about a wrench? Oh no, I was working on my car and Jason came up behind me and took the wrench from me. No, that's lame. That's not very fun. Wrench is a D. Let's go to the crowbar since we're at tools. You know, we're on tools. I'm pretty sure that's a crowbar. Again, it's not a crowbar. What could that be, do you think, huh? Could it be a hook? Who knows? Let me see here. Let me see here. What could that be? The fire poker. That's what it is. It's a fire poker. Of course, obviously. Apologies, my dog is barking. It's a fire poker. What do you use that for? Well, you use it for getting a single kill, I believe. Maybe two. Nope, just one. So it's not very effective. But again, it's I think it's in D again. You know, it's got the same sort of idea behind the wrench. You're gonna see it a lot. It's not used for killing, but it could work. I guess it's a little bit more effective than a wrench because you could kind of stab with it. It's got this little hook. You could do something with that. You know, the hook, much like when Porky the pig gets pulled off stage or whatnot. The toad gets pulled off stage when he's doing his little dance across it. You know, you pull him with the neck across the stage. I'm not sure why that came to my head immediately, but you know, that's what I'm thinking of. You could do something like that. You could pull someone. That's not how it's used. It's just stabbed. So it's another D tier. Not very good. It's not garbage. You know, it's not like a complete stupid idea, but it's also not the coolest. All right. Let's see here. So this is an interesting weapon, and I'm not really sure how I categorized it here. Let me just go through my list. I titled it a curved bladed pole arm, which is what it is. when you see it in the movie, there's really no other way to categorize it. It's a curved bladed polearm. I'm not sure why someone has that in their home, but they do, a curved bladed polearm. So as if they enjoy LARPing, medieval role playing. He gets more than one kill with the curved bladed polearm. No, he just gets one. So you know what? That's an F. Why is there a curved bladed polearm there? You know, a good situation where a hydraulic circular saw would work much better. It's just mechanized. It's probably a little bit longer, you know. So curved bladed polearm, literally just worse circular saw. You know, give me the big less than symbol toward the circular saw. I mean, not the circular saw. Are you kidding me? Circular saw is great. Toward the polearm, garbage. All right, let's. You know what? I'll spoil it again. We'll bring another S tier one into this one. The party noisemaker. Hilarious. You know, while this one is not really intended for killing, it's also very creative to be used. You know, when I saw that guy blowing that little party noisemaker, I was like, oh baby, that's gonna be an exciting one. And it was. I'm pretty sure he stabs the guy in the eye with it. Oh, lovely. How creative. Jason, I love your taste. So yeah, once again, you see, I'm into the out there ones, the ones that are out there, but the ones that are creatively out there. You know, a wrench, kind of out there. You know, ooh, not a weapon per se, but it's no lame. A party noisemaker, stabbed through the eyeball, magnifique, S tier. What about a hammer though? Yeah, I think you know what I'm gonna say. He's got one kill. It's a tool that's not really used for killing, but also could be. That's a D. It's an easy D. You know, wrench, fire poker, hammer, all tools not necessarily used for killing, but could be quite effective in killing. That's pretty much what the D tier is. You know, hammer, wrench, fit together perfectly. That's where they're going to go. D tier. Now, if you see here, we have both, we have a couple of kitchen knives. Actually, you know what? We have quite a few knives in general here, and they all have their own names and their own kill counts. So let me make sure I've got everything correct here. So I know that we have the Bowie machete, and I believe that's what this one is. The Bowie machete, it's just a smaller machete. You know, when you think Bowie knife, it's pretty much the same thing. It's a tactical, little bit smaller machete, and he throws it. Jason throws the machete, the Bowie machete, very effectively. He misses one time at least, I'm so sure, but he's got 3 kills with the Bowie machete. I think that's another C tier. You know what? No, it's a B tier. Bowie machete. It's not on the level of iconography as the machete, the natural machete, but it's still pretty decent. It would fit his genre, you know, like it would fit his style, the kind of Jason style of Bowie machete. That's what I'd want, strapped to his leg, you know, ready to throw if he needs it. Bowie machete. It's a B tier. No, it's you know, when if you were to rank guns in COD, for example, and someone were to include a tomahawk on the list, that's where I think it would go. It's a B. It's not very effective. It can kill in one hit. Interesting, but it's hard to aim, you know, as it is with Jason. He's not 100% accurate with this, so that's a B tier. We'll continue with the knives. This is a Bowie knife now. There's a difference, let me tell you. A Bowie machete and a Bowie knife, not the same thing. And please never tell me it is. Bowie knife gets only 1 kill, so it's not as effective as the Bowie machete. It's not a throwing knife, you know, it's not going to be as effective with throwing like the Bowie machete is. And it's got less kills. It's a little bit less, I keep using the word creative. This is not the time for that word. I was about to use it again. Not the time. This one, Bowie knife, it's just not very interesting. You know, it's a Bowie knife is a pretty common thing to think about. A Bowie machete? What? What are you bringing into my life? This Bowie machete? Never even heard of this idea before I watched this movie. Bowie knife, Of course, I collect swords. I know what a Bowie knife is. C tier. Same as the cleaver. Easy to use as a weapon, but not very cool. It's just very normal. It's just it's just average. You don't associate it with Jason like you do with the machete or the axe, and it's not very interesting. It's a C tier. Kitchen knife. Now this is a Michael Myers weapon. This is not Jason's icon. When you think of Michael Myers, you're thinking the kitchen knife. It's got the long blade. He likes that overhead stab. Downwards. And Jason kills the same way like that. Now, interestingly, he uses this weapon quite a lot. Fair enough. It's a common thing in the household that could be pretty useful for stabbing. But he uses it backwards. And I've seen Michael Myers also use it backwards. Now, it's not, I don't know if I can say it's necessarily backwards. But it's not how I would expect it to be used, where the curved part of the blade is actually on the top, and that straight down bit at the very end of the blade near the handle is up. Why is that? Why do they hold it like that? He only holds it like that once. Then he gets 3 kills, and 2 of them are the normal way that I would expect the knife to be used. But the first one is backwards. And I'm like, why? Why is that the way that you hold it? Is it to perhaps make it a little bit spookier, a little bit scarier? Why is that going on? Why is it backwards? I don't know. It seems kind of silly to me, and it's going to be added to the C. If we were ranking Michael Myers weapons, this would be an A tier, Michael Myers, the kitchen knife. But for Jason, it's a C. It's clearly been done before with Michael Myers, so it's not like it's a creative or interesting new thing. So it's C. Now this knife, which I believe ends our normal knife. Yes, it ends the normal knives that we see here. Now I believe I called this a long-bladed knife or something of the sort. Yes, long serrated knife is what I called this. And I think he's got around 3 kills with this knife. It's a little bit more for sawing, so it's not a great stabber. And it's a little bit wackier, a little bit more interesting. It's not the kitchen knife. This is very basic kitchen knife that you'd assume everyone has. It's a little bit serrated, it's like a bread knife. You're gonna cut open a big loaf of bread, maybe cut open a few people's heads. It's going to be the C as well. Not, as I said, not as iconic, a little bit more creative, so that balances it out. But it doesn't get used very often, and honestly, I look at this knife, I think bread. I'm not thinking, ooh, scary like this one. What do you use this? What is this knife even for? Meat? Like that? Yeah, I don't want to get chopped by a knife that's for meat. But when you say, oh, I'm going to attack you with a bread knife, you're like, bread? Like, I'm not going to be very sharp. It doesn't need to be. Bread's usually pretty soft. At least the good kinds are. So yeah, that's going to be a C tier. Let's pop in another S tier one right now. The harpoon gun. Oh, a beautiful weapon. Harpoon gun? Why would you think that one is so great, Nick? Oh, well, you see, it's because Jason, though, the one thing that I find very interesting about him and that I enjoy whenever it's used more often in the movies is his aquatic nature. He was drowned as a child, and he in the first film he resembles very closely that of a drowned corpse. It's bloated, it's red, it's his skin is kind of flayed and laying about. He's a very I think they forget a lot about his aquatic roots with a lot of these weapons, but the harpoon gun, beautiful. It's got the fear, it's a big spear and a gun. That's horrifying. You think of people shooting whales with that. Whales, biggest animals alive right now. It's got to be a pretty powerful weapon. And it's aquatic based, which works wonderfully with Jason's character. Harpoon gun is an S. How many kills does the harpoon gun have, you might ask? Well, it's a little bit tricky. Jason kills people with both a harpoon and a harpoon gun, and I decided I just would smush those two together. You know, they're not really unique enough to be their own things, so I brought them together, and I think it's 6. Now I say I think because sometimes it's unsure if he kills them or if he's just wounded them heavily with the harpoon gun. So it's around 6, let's say, give or take. Moving on. Broken bottle. Once again, we're picking off the ones that I can tell very easily what they are, and then we'll leave the more confusing ones like, what is this? I believe this is a needle, but we'll leave those till later when I can look at what's left. So broken bottle. Broken bottle. I expected it to come sooner, honestly. It doesn't happen until the 8th movie, I believe, that he kills someone with a broken bottle. Maybe not. It might be the 10th or the 7th, but you first see it happen in the 5th. Once again, as I've said, we're not including that because that was Roy, not Jason, that killed someone with it. So it is not included. But he does come back, and he does kill someone with a bottle. And I believe he kills one person with a bottle, if I can find this here on my list. Broken bottle of alcohol, 1 kill. So again, it's something kind of obvious to be used, not necessarily a weapon, but it's kind of an average thing. It's going to go with D. It's just not very cool. When you smash it, it's kind of like a bar fight. Jason's not some thug that you fight in a bar. He's an undead, creepy monster dude. And I think a broken bottle just doesn't convey the kind of fear that he holds the same way as something like a Bowie machete might. Next up, let's go for the shard of glass. So I'm using cheeky little Dead by Daylight icon here, which is a Michael Myers add-on. So again, something that Michael Myers is more known for, the breaking of glass and using shards for weapons. This is seen in the 8th movie. I'm sure of it because I remember the mirror breaking and him using it to stab someone. He only gets 1 kill with it. So again, it's a one-off. It's a throwaway. It's not very interesting. It's gonna go in D. I almost gave it the F. Almost gave it the F there, but I think Shard of Glass. It's all right. It's the same as the bottle. It's the same as the wrench. It's not really that cool. It's not really that creative. It's not that interesting, but it's okay. So it's not going to go in F. It's going to go in D. Let's look at the pickaxe. Now, the pickaxe is an interesting inclusion for this list because it's the only one that I included that he actually doesn't kill anyone with. Jason doesn't kill anyone with a pickaxe. It's one of his main weapons that he uses in the 2nd movie, his first real appearance where he's killing people. And he chases that one girl around, the final girl in that movie, so long with this pickaxe, but he never gets it. He never gets it done. He never gets that girl with the pickaxe. So he's got no kills with the pickaxe. But I just thought it was such a cool weapon for him to use. It really matched with his wild forest dwelling character in the 2nd movie. So you know what, pickaxe, it's gonna go in C. He didn't get any kills. If he got a kill with it, I'd put it in B because he got no kills. It's only getting the C. Pitchfork though, I'm gonna put it in B right away. I think that they should have used the pitchfork more. I think it's a very cool weapon to be used. Again, it kind of fits his forest dwelling character idea that you see in the 2nd movie, and it comes back in either the 3rd or the 4th movie where he's killing those thugs in the barn. Oh, let me find how many people he actually killed with it over the movies. He killed 2 people, so I believe he killed 1 in the 2nd movie and then 1 in the 3rd or 4th, whichever one he uses it. So it's B. It's pretty cool. Not on the level of iconography. That's how you pronounce it. As the axe, the machete, the spear, and it's not a super interesting, cool weapon, but it's decent. It's a B. It's pretty good. Now we have a sickle. surprisingly, he kills 2 people with a sickle. Really? A sickle? Why reuse that weapon? Like I'm okay with it. Scythes are one of the coolest weapons to me that can be used, you know? But why do so many people still have a sickle? You know, we're not living in the dark ages, you know, where we've got to go out and chop down all of our crops all the time. Who has a sickle nowadays? I certainly don't. Do farmers still use sickles? I assume not. They have tractors now. Why do they have the sickle? I don't get it. Let's see. End of story. We're moving on. Sorry about that sickle rant. Um, so these are the hot sauna rocks. This one's a little bit controversial. It could probably be included in hands, but I believe he does actually pick up the hot sauna rock and then use it to attack somebody. He doesn't just smush their face into the hot sauna rocks. Maybe he does, though. Maybe I'm being a little bit of a hypocrite with this one, but I wanted to include it. Hot sauna rocks, you know, why not? It's certainly not something I've ever seen used again um, in any other horror film that they would have killed someone with. So hot sauna rock, also C. You know, it's okay. It's not offensive like the curved bladed pole arm, which I have no idea why someone would have that. And I think it's a little bit better than a misused tool. So it's going to be a C. Sickle, you could be like, oh, it's a misused tool. No. Moving on. I like the sickle. Okay. So, all right. Okay, I remember now. I can picture the image in my brain. So this horizontal line, this is a garrote. It's a garrote, I believe is how you pronounce it. It's a French weapon. It's the wire. You know, if you think Hitman, I've recently been playing Hitman 2. That's his weapon. You know, it's the wire with the 2 handles on either end. You choke someone out with it. It's a garrote. He gets, I believe, 2 kills with the garrote, or a weapon such like that resembles a garrote. You know, it's using some sort of wire or string, and he's choking someone with it. I believe he gets 2 kills with this. The garrote, I was gonna leave it in B. I think it's a C. You know, excuse me there. It's not the best. The image is horribly cropped, and that gives me a little bit of bias against it. But even without that, it's just not. It's not very cool. You know, when it is an ambush weapon, and I think Jason is for the most part an ambush kind of like killer. But yeah, it's not as flashy as something like a pitchfork, you know, where you can sneak up and stab someone with it. It's very assassin-like. Let's say that. It feels like there's too much planning going on to use a garrote, and I don't think that necessarily matches his character. Sure, he does plan, like he certainly is planning. You know, he wraps that one kid's foot up and then splays him. Ugh, didn't like that very much. But like he made like a actual like Wile E. Coyote trap for someone. But something about the garage just doesn't sit right with me. Again, better than a misused tool, but not on the level of something pretty good to great. We're down to the last 4, and now we get into the ones where I'm very confused what they are. I'm pretty sure this one is the needle, which I included as its own thing. The needle has in my list. It has a question mark beside it because I'm not really sure what it is that he uses. He stabs someone at the very beginning of a movie. I can't even remember which one, but it's very early, and he stabs them with it through the head. And I just have no idea what it is. It just looks like a metal needle. So we're gonna give that a D. It doesn't look right. It's so hard to understand what's actually going on there. So yeah, it's gonna be D. Now I have a chain here. It looks like I've got a chain here. Um, so yep, a chain. He's got 1 kill with it. Same with the needle, by the way, only 1 kill. A chain though, a chain feels a little bit better than a garrote. I think I'm going to put in B. It feels, and oh, it matches my favorite look in, I believe, the 8th movie, maybe the 7th, where he's got chains all over him. My favorite Jason look. It's gonna be in the B. I like it a lot. We're down to the last two, and let me tell you, I'm having a hard time telling what this one on the right is. Let me just quickly go through. It's not a wrench. We've already done wrench. Broken fence post, a long serrated knife. Is this the bone saw? Perhaps. I mean, I'm looking and I'm not really seeing anything else it could be. And I know I haven't done the bone saw. I guess this is supposed to be the bone saw? It looks just like a pole to me, but let's say it's the bone saw. Please imagine this to be a bone saw. I'm sure I could have gotten a better image than that, but I made this a while ago and it wasn't letting me edit it again. So I believe this is the bone saw. And you know what? Bone saw is a B. B for bone saw. Moving on. Last one. Future machete. Now he gets 4 kills with this one. Bone saw, by the way. He gets only 1, but it's a B. Future machete. Now I have an actual image of a replica that someone took a picture of because I couldn't find a good image of it in the movie to use. So it's the future machete that Jason uses in the 10th film, Jason X. Uber Jason uses it. Actually, no, I'm lying to you right now. I believe Jason, before he becomes Uber Jason, uses it because he's still trying to get his old machete back. So yes, future machete. Where would this one go? It's the final one. Where's it gonna go? Future machete? It's a C. You know what? It's a B. So it takes the idea of the machete, which is an A, and it's like, hey, we're gonna put a new spin on it. We're gonna make it cool again, guys. Hey, kids. Hey, youths. We're gonna make it cool again. We're gonna make the machete cool again. We're gonna give it this new, hip, futuristic look. Not necessary. Okay, you could have gone with something a lot like a lightsaber. Give Jason a lightsaber, you cowards. Give him a lightsaber next time, because this is it's a step up, but it feels more like a step down. You know, it just looks a little bit different. You know, the holes here. What are they used for? You're not going to put your fingers in there like and hold it like that. That would be so uncomfortable and would not help actually using it. Your fingers would hurt so bad after one slash through the jungle with that cyber machete. So yeah, it's a B. It's a step down from his classic, but I can see what they're trying to do. You know, they're trying to make him look a little bit more futuristic for Jason X. And that's it. This is all of the weapons from films 2 to 10, excluding 5 and 9, that Jason uses to kill people. I had a wonderful time looking at these once again, brought back wonderful memories of watching the films because I could skip over the ones I didn't like very much. So yeah, hope everyone has a wonderful time. If you'd like to rank them yourself, I will include the link. So I hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. See you later.